Welcome to the video, arm wrestling fans. At this point, introducing someone as a guest of Devon's caliber is just a matter of giving respect to the guy. So here is my attempt. Sitting in front of us, or with us, I should say, is the man who served his country for about 20 years. That is 2 decades. And the guy who is single handedly responsible for almost, or should I say, at least 50% growth of our sport. The arm wrestler who has been in the top 5 for about 1.5 decades, possibly both left and right handed, and probably the most busiest arm wrestler right now in the world, and still humble enough to give guys like me an opportunity to do something for the sport. Welcome, Devon Larratt, to our show.
Hey, thanks, Pradeep. I love what you do for the community, so it's my honor to be here with you today.
Yeah. So earlier I was planning this interview to be slow and steady, about 1 hour, 10 minutes. But since Devon is way too busy and getting way too massive, we have to kind of cut it short. You're not eating, Devon. I'm surprised.
I tell you, I have never been this busy. I really haven't been. I mean, I try and make my life as simple as possible, but it just doesn't work that way.
Before the Michael Todd match, you mentioned that you have started going to bed early. You have dialed in everything perfectly. How is sleep right now?
No, I'm up at I'm normally going to bed at like 2 a.m. right now. And it's just the way it goes with me. I typically just go to bed later and later until the sun's coming up and I'm still awake. And then I sleep in though. I'm not one of those early risers. Like I will sleep in. So right. I'm still getting my sleep. I just stay up at night.
So guys, I have changed the format of the interview totally. This interview will now be 30 questions with Devon Larratt. First 10 are somewhere around introductory questions, mild questions. And then the next 10 are going to be some serious ones. And the last 10 will be the more juicy ones that probably the critics or the haters are going to enjoy the most. So are you ready for the rapid fire, Devon?
Let's do it.
Right. So first, I wanted to know, what is the role of your family when you are preparing for a match? Like, what does Milo, Hebri, Auden, Jordy, all of them talk with you about? What do they talk with you about during the preparation of the match? Are you talking about the match? How are you going to beat your opponent? What is going on in your house before a match? I would say 1 or 2 months before a match.
Well, they're all my closest teammates, all of them. That being said, we don't really talk a ton about arm wrestling. I mean, they've been around for so long and they see everything I'm doing. So I will share little thoughts with them about how the preparation's going. And, we just share our lives with each other. And it's very vague. And I don't really get into details so much with any of them about the match. They know, they've seen this pattern go over and over, so they know that as the match continues to get closer and closer, I will become more distant, more hungry, and more restful. And they just accept that, and they help me with whatever I need to accomplish those. In the house, we just help each other accomplish our goals. That's our number one thing.
So that would also lead to my second question. Do you kind of separate yourself from social media? I should not even say do you, because you clearly do. Otherwise, you're uploading 1 or 2 videos every day, and right before your match, 1 or 2 months before your matches, you are uploading maybe once in 2 days or once in 3 days. So why do you distance yourself from social media, and why do you think it is so important?
I think that everything is about focus and investment. And if I have time to, I do videos, I do socialize, I do talk to people, but as the match gets closer and closer, I feel like my time just becomes more valuable to the outcome of the match. So I try to limit just wasted time. And not to say that any of this is wasted, it's just not the priority right before I'm going to compete. So yeah, that's typically the trend.
Right. And my next question is about Dion. You have mentioned about him countless times on your channel, but you haven't got gotten him on your channel, not even once. And if you remember or not, I don't know, but I also requested you to get him on your channel. When is the Dion interview coming? Because he is the guy who is responsible for bringing Devon Larratt into arm wrestling.
I have so much respect for Dion as a person, as an athlete. It was incredible to get to reconnect with him. I didn't film anything. I didn't feel comfortable with shoving a camera in Dion's face. I didn't feel comfortable doing it. But the entire thing was filmed by the documentary crew, which was following us. So it will be on the documentary, which is going to be done, probably later this year. So you'll get to see all about Dion. At some point, I'm sure I will have a call with Dion, which I'll record. But I just feel like I can never really do him justice. So, I hesitate to kind of, put him in front of a camera. And it was great to see him. Total champion to me. You'll get to meet him on the documentary.
And I've heard that they are aiming for Netflix.
They are, yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So the next question is...
It should be great. The guy... Go ahead.
No, you're the guest. You go ahead, please.
Yeah, the guy who's doing it, I think he's very good at what he does. So I expect an incredible product.
Okay, so the next question is about Bottom 8. When is the next Bottom 8 coming? Location? And why did you invite Bowen and Bierman? How do they qualify for Bottom 8? They're way too good.
Hold on.
Last time.
Last time I invited them because I thought that they were actually perfect fits at the time. So that was, what was that, 2018?
Yes, 18.
Right, so that's like 4 years ago. They were, in my mind, they were probably two of the more guys at the top. I expected them to kind of do very well in the event, but they were still, I thought, relevant as bottom 8 players. If I was to do a bottom 8 event today, it changes, right? Like, you have to be careful when, making an event like this, that the level doesn't start to creep higher and higher and higher. I'm not sure that they would be in the next bottom 8. I haven't said for sure that they would be, because we scrapped everything. I believe we scrapped it all and restart. So there will be another bottom 8. I wanted it to be international, and I've been hesitant to do international events just because of all the garbage that's going on still. And until that's done, I don't know if I want to deal with the headache. We'll see. Once it settles down, I think that I'll get on organizing it. Definitely nothing before June 25th.
Okay. Yeah. So next question is ArmBet update. Does that sound familiar to you?
It's good. It's not bad.
So why are we not hearing it? I cannot shout it here right now because your voice is really loud doing that.
We're very busy. We're super busy. I actually just got off a call before this interview. We're all the time putting together ideas, getting people to execute them. There's a lot of work to be done. Make no mistake, ArmBet will be the home of arm wrestling. Will be. For generations to come. We are going to have everything on there that you're going to want as an arm wrestling fan. Everything. From grassroots all the way through to everything. It's all going to be on there. But there's a lot of work to be done. We are very close to our next release. And when that is close, I will push it heavily for that period. And I will probably do heavy promotional pushes around every new release that we do. And there's going to be many of them as we go forward. But right now, we still have a lot. Like, I think probably within the next month or so, we should have a very exciting update for all the people who are using ArmBet. And we're going to continue to refine it so that it serves people better and better, serves the community better. It's coming. And yeah, I'll start blowing that horn hard once it's time. Yeah, once it's time to give people the next kind of boost.
So, when are you coming to India once again, and what was the learnings from the first time you were around?
I'll love to travel again more. I'm really looking forward to getting out and working the international community again. Really looking forward to it. It's something that has slowed down for me a little bit, but I'm really happy to know that it's going to be a big part of the future again for me. India, so much passion. There's so many people who love arm wrestling in India, and to me, India is one of those places where I know it's going to explode. It's perfect. It's like a powder keg for the sport. I feel like just the population density, the accessibility of the sport. I think that arm wrestling is going to be extremely popular in that country, and yeah, I only see good things. So yeah, I'd love to come back over later this year. Later this year, in a perfect world.
I hope
Yeah.
it explodes here in India. So, what
Oh,
does
inevitable. Inevitable.
right?
Yeah.
We are waiting for that. So, what does Devon, sitting in Canada right now, know about Pro Punja League in India?
I know a bit. Um, I know I've spoke with the organizers. Looks like they do a really big promotion. They have Bollywood involved a little bit.
Yes.
I haven't watched the latest video. I need to watch that. It looks like they're doing something with auctioning off athletes.
Right.
Uh, I I got invited to go. I know Michael. I know that they're trying to pull in some guys, but looks like great promotion, high level production. Yeah, looks good. Looks good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the owner of the league is Praveen Dabas, who is a Bollywood actor, producer, director. He does
Right.
everything. And when you look at the production value, like we can almost bet that you cannot find a better production value anywhere in the world.
Mm.
Like we're just waiting here for that one viral moment that could be anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Is it like WAL? It's better than WAL?
I would say, yeah, definitely at that
Wow.
level.
So cool.
And they're just starting.
So
They're just starting.
yeah, yeah. That's great. That's exciting news. Now we just need some Indian superstars to just take over the scene.
Right.
That's
So
great.
since we're talking about arm wrestling and arm wrestling future, what would be your ideal arm wrestling future? You can say that it is a combination of both. Is it either arm wrestling community earning money from pay-per-views, organizers earning money from pay-per-views, or earning money from sponsors?
I think that you have to look at it a lot of different ways. I think that it's multiple things. I think it's great that we have government funding, right? Some countries, they like the sport and they will fund it through government resources. It's great. Sponsors think that it's super cool, so they pitch in money, make events happen. It's great. Uh, fans love the sport. They pay for tickets. They pay for pay-per-view. Fantastic. And then athletes have and I guess that kind of works the same thing. Once athletes get a following big enough, they're basically able to generate the third thing basically all by themselves with platforms like YouTube or whatever. And so the sport starts to look a bunch of different ways. Organized through probably WAF is your best example of government.
Government.
King of the Table is your best example of
Pay-per-views.
pay-per-view. And I think that I don't know. I mean, who's your best example of sponsored events? I'm not sure who had the best sponsors so far. Probably pick one. Pick one. I don't know if there's been a great big sponsor that's fallen in love with arm wrestling lately.
So we just figured out that we have got two things dialed in, and the sponsor part is maybe missing.
Yeah, if we have like a big sponsor that wants to jump onto arm wrestling, yeah, that could help right now. Yeah.
So out of these 32 questions, about 20 are prepared by me only, and about 10 I've taken from the community post that I posted, people who wanted to ask you. So the next question is from the community post. If you could go back in past and change something, and in arm wrestling or in life, what would you do?
Oh, there's so many things. I have a million regrets. And I'm not one of those people that says, oh, I wouldn't change a thing. No, I would change everything. I would change it all. Yeah, I would go. If you could let me go back with what I have now and be 5, oh, wow, would I ever live a different life? Way different. But so maybe to dial it back a whole bunch, maybe just talk about arm wrestling specifically. I would try and go way easier, way easier. I think that I've pushed myself way too hard. And unfortunately, I don't know if that's just a personality trait and I'll never learn. Maybe that's how it is, but I think that I've probably done a lot of, harm to my body by training too hard, by pushing too hard. And I think that I would probably be better off if I had just cut it back, probably, a bit at times. I think that, when you're trying to get better at something, you have to learn when probably enough is enough and let your ego kind of take a bit of a back seat a little bit. I mean, that's why a lot of us do it in the first place. So, when I identify who's got good arm wrestling potential, a lot of times I look for the stubborn guy. I look for the guy who, has that ego that believes he can do anything. But at the same time, that's going to hurt him too. So there's a balance point where you take that stubborn guy, you take that, guy with the healthy ego, and you have to learn how to just manage what you do. That would have been a great thing for me if I had somebody, pulling my reins more. That would have been good. And maybe I would have started Way of the Giant Pumpkin when I was like 10. Maybe.
Right. So when I was preparing for this interview, I watched your interview with Coach Ray in 2020, it was, I think. And there you mentioned that maybe the arm wrestling Olympic dream is still possible. So what are your thoughts about that statement of yours now in 2022?
For sure. We could definitely get arm wrestling at the Olympics. I'd be confident that we could do it. It would just take somebody to really put a lot of effort in. But yeah, of course it's possible. Anybody who knows arm wrestling knows that it belongs. Absolutely. There's no question in my mind that arm wrestling should be recognized as an Olympic sport. It's one of the most pure sports. It's combative. It's something that you can get better at. It's done by all countries of the world. Anybody can do it. It's a perfect sport. It should be in the Olympics. It's just somebody's going to have to put in the time and energy to get it there. But yeah, I believe that eventually it will be an Olympic sport. Yeah.
Devon, I'd like to add something to this. I've been following arm wrestling very closely for past 3 years, and I haven't figured it out yet. Why do we say ready before we say go? What is the need for that?
It depends on the league. A lot of leagues don't. Okay, so WAF says ready, go. King of the Table does not. WAL does not. So if the leagues are smart, they say go. Right. Just say go. Because ready is, to me, ready is a silly word as well. Yeah, there's no point. You should be ready. You should be ready and respond off the word go, because everybody knows that ready means go and see if you can get away with it.
Right.
It's not just me. Even though everybody thinks all the cheating in the world is only done by me, it's everybody. Okay. Yeah, it should be just go. Close the thumbs, close the hands, go. doesn't matter what you do in the sport, people are always going to try and find a way to win. But ready is just completely not required in my mind. It's just not required.
So you have recently practiced with Matt Mask, your countryman. Where would you rank him in the world or in North America or both?
Matt's really good. He's very, very good. He's got so much talent. The truth is about Matt is he should be pulling 110 kilo or even 105 kilo. That's where Matt should be. It's where I should be too. But there isn't a good incentive for weight class arm wrestling at the moment. So anybody who's, a certain weight is basically going for that super heavyweight title. I think Matt and I jumped on the scale, and Matt was between 240 and 245 pounds, I think, dressed. So, and he looks way bigger to me. Like when you look at Matt's shoulders, his hand, his forearm, he's huge. He's a very, very well-built guy for arm wrestling. In North America, I think he's got the best hand out there. I do. I think he's got the best hand in North America. I don't know who's like just hand for hand. His hand is incredible. It really is. When we first grip up, every time, I never feel comfortable with him. Never have. I haven't felt comfortable with Matt gripping up probably in, I don't know, maybe since like it's coming up on a decade. Probably sometime around 2015. I was like, I don't like his hand anymore. It takes me a while to get him so that he feels like manageable to me. It takes some time, but I think that Matt. I think he's in the top 5 if he's done his homework. I think. I'll tell you, I was so surprised when Hutchins got him. And I don't like to make excuses. I don't like to make excuses for other people. But I believe that Matt has all the tools to win against just about anybody. That's why I seek him out as a training partner all the time, because I know how much of an obstacle his hand can be. It's very hard to get around. Yeah.
So let's talk about Delusions for a bit. How many elite arm wrestlers that you know would you classify them as delusional? That you personally know? I do not need the names, just the number.
Well, everybody's a bit delusional. As soon as you have hopes and dreams, which put you ahead of your fellow man, I mean, are you delusional? I think that what's that?
You know the definition of delusion in arm wrestling. I'm talking about that.
You talking about Ryan?
No, not Ryan, but the definition.
Well, yeah, delusion would mean that, you believe, when you're talking about yourself, you believe that you can do things that you can't do.
Right.
Like you say, like, I'm this, but really you're not. Yeah, I think people which definitely are more delusional than others. But it doesn't work for me. Maybe someone will say that I'm delusional, but I don't think I'm delusional. I think I try and be very accurate. And I think that that's one of the keys to success. For me, I like to try and accurately assess where I am. And then some people, think that they're capable of things. And then I feel like when they're faced with reality, they have this horrible wake-up call. I think, when you talk about the top arm wrestlers, there's a few that are definitely delusional, but it's hard to be really, really good at anything and be truly delusional. It is. Most people are pretty smart guys. Even the guys who people say are delusional, there's a couple. I'll say, why don't we just say there's 15% that are very delusional.
And let the fans, the viewers, figure it out who they are.
Yeah.
So the next one is a bit sneaky question, I would say. Who gets paid better? Professional arm wrestler Devon or professional boxer Devon?
Well, if I took boxing seriously, probably there's more money in boxing. Probably there is. But I mean, I'm an arm wrestler. It's the whole reason why I'm even a boxer is because I'm an arm wrestler. So, yeah, I mean, I'm an arm wrestler. That's how I make my living now, is through all things arm wrestling. Surprisingly, I'm doing just fine. I'm doing just fine. You can absolutely make it now. You really can. So all of you young aspiring arm wrestlers, you'll do better than me because the sport is still just growing. But you get great at something, doesn't matter what it is, even arm wrestling. You can make a living for you and your family. Yeah.
So the next question, Devon, is also about money. I've heard two completely opposite statements from you. Number one is that I don't care about money, and number two is I didn't go there because the money was not enough, or maybe that I went there because the money was good enough. So I would personally, first I will answer that what I think. Why would you have said that? In my opinion, my belief is that you care about money when it is coming from a super match or a tournament, but you don't really care about other type of incomes like from sponsorships, maybe from YouTube ad revenue. This is what I've gotten from your personality over kind of studying you for a long time right now.
I'm not doing anything for money. Okay, that's the first thing that I want to make clear. Like, my requirements as a human being are actually extremely low. The Not to be misunderstood, I love money. I love the freedom that money gives me. You cannot be free without money. You can't do what you want to in life without money. I'm very lucky in terms that I had a job, I saved my money, I got myself to a position financially where I now don't have to worry about money like I used to the same degree. So what that means is I'm not arm wrestling for money. I'm arm wrestling because I love to arm wrestle. It's what I love to do. I didn't choose arm wrestling thinking, oh, I'm going to become an arm wrestler to get paid. I don't think I want to arm wrestle Levon Sagnashvili to get paid. I don't think I'd like to go to Japan and Norway and wherever for the money. It's never the reason. It's never, ever the reason why I'm doing this stuff. However, when you have a lot of things offered to you, money does become a consideration. So for example, I love arm wrestling. I'm going to arm wrestle. Even if all the money left arm wrestling, if there was nothing, you'd still see me at practice, 2 or 3 times a week. I'd probably still try to be as best as I could be. I'd still probably travel the world arm wrestling if I could afford it. But since here's the interesting thing, money does tie in a lot. I have always believed that the highest level of competition is tied to the highest level of money. It's the way it is.
Right.
Whoever is paying the biggest paycheck, that is where the number one in the world sits. That's where the action is. That is the league you want to be a part of for a multitude of reasons. So in that sense, I do care about the money. And I also know that it sets a precedent. If I have 3 or 4 offers on the table and I want to do all of them, want to do every single one of them, money could be the difference. It could be. So to say that I don't care about money, that's a lie. It's not the truth. I do care about it. But I never want anybody to think that I'm arm wrestling for the money, because that would also be a lie.
In my mind, yeah, in my mind, it is pretty clear. It is pretty clear because I messaged you that Devon, you should add your email to your YouTube account so that big sponsors will definitely approach you within the first week. There is no doubt about that. And I checked today, you haven't added it till now. That is, it shows that you just don't care about it.
I really don't care. The thing, what my goals are, is really to have fun. Doesn't really get too far past that. That's it. To have fun. I just want to have fun. And And as soon as I have enough money, then that's all I care about is how can I have the most fun possible. You know, I get to travel, I get to meet people, I get to compete, I get to make myself stronger. I get to learn life through the sport of arm wrestling. And I think when I start to worry too much about the details of money, it shifts things, it can make things dirty in a way that doesn't make me happy. Like, I don't like to fight about money. I don't like to, it never brings me happiness. Never once. So yeah, I mean, money's important. It absolutely is. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the luxury of having money. Wouldn't be able to. But this whole thing is created because I never cared about money. That's the interesting thing. This whole thing, this whole scenario came into reality because I was doing something that I love to do. It didn't pay me anything. I did it anyways. I gave everything away for free. You know, it helped get other people involved, helped grow things, helped other people take notice, and it's created. I think it's helped create the environment that we're in today.
Right, you work on your passion and money will follow, as they say. So if, let's say, if organizer, someone is an organizer from ABC Promotions, he wants to get Devon on his card, so does the giant pumpkin arm cost more than the left regular arm?
It's normally, it has in the past, I'd say, typically, just because it's been much more serious. You know, my right hand has been, for the last few years, it's been the hand that I've dedicated to try to touch the top of the world again with. My left is really good, but my left I feel like my right, I need to plan things. I want to have peaks, I want to have towers, I want to plan it, I want to present it. Whereas my left, it's just like, whatever. Yeah, you want to compete tonight? Okay, let's do it. You want to compete this weekend? Okay, whatever. If we're taken care of, let's do it. I don't put as much stock into it. It doesn't have the same investment. It's just along for the ride. This one is along for the ride. Whatever happens, happens. Whereas this one is like a planned experiment. This one is yeah. This is where the real experiment is.
So the next question would be, what pisses Devon off about arm wrestling or arm wrestlers or anything related to arm wrestling?
I don't get too pissed off about arm wrestling. I guess one thing that pisses me off is when I get hurt. That always pisses me off. I hate it. I hate when I get like an injury and it I just ruins my whole day, ruins my whole week. You know, when my body doesn't perform the way I want it to, that can be upsetting, which is, you know, happens all the time. So, so that can be annoying, but it's balanced off by, you know, when I feel it's doing well. I think that the message boards are interesting these days. I think that there are a lot of people who are having fun, like just getting reactions, you know, people who like to stir up all sorts of nonsense. But one thing that does upset me is some people do not have, I guess they don't know who to believe and who not to believe. They just see a post and they just accept it as fact. Whereas I don't know how, like, I don't know most of the people who post on a lot of the messages. I see them post and they're posting things and it's like, I have no idea who you are. I have no idea who you are. And I mean, that's the way I look at it. I'm like, I can't take you as a credible source, but I think a lot of people, a lot of new arm wrestlers become opinionated based off of the opinions of trolls, which is fine. It's all good, and I guess that's the way I should just accept that this is the way that the world works. I guess I just say that it does upset me when I see some person who I think has a lot of potential or who I like, struggling to find the truth. You know, that this can be murky. You know, you won't necessarily find the truth on social media. Not necessarily.
Devon, you created the troll army. Now you don't get to complain about it.
So I mean, how can I complain about it? I can't. I think that it does more good than bad. I do, because like it's engagement, and engagement is good. But I do think that we need to work on some kind of a verification process that's maybe more than what we have now. So like when people comment, it's like, you are a troll, and that's fine. It's who you are. It's no problem. And then you have like John or Engen Terzi, and when they say stuff, it's like, okay, John said it, Engen said it. It's, okay, we're good.
So what's surprising is that I asked this same question to Todd Hutchings, and his answer was almost identical. I would say 90% the same. Yeah, absolutely same answer.
Yeah. Well.
So let's talk about Travis the Beast Bagent right now. Travis believes or claims that you only bulked up to the super heavyweights after he kind of retired from WL, and you were dodging him in the competition.
Did he say that?
Yes.
When did he say that? Did he say that? When did he say that?
Not recently, maybe about 2 years ago, but I definitely remember him saying that.
So Travis is a guy who should have a troll asterisk next to his name. You know, I would never believe anything that Travis said. Listen, I would still today, if there's a nice weight class, absolutely put me in that weight class. I love weight class arm wrestling. It's so nice. It's so great. I get to be healthy. I get to like eat the right amount of food. You know, me at like 105, 110 kilos, that's perfect. That is perfect for me. I don't have to kill myself. I don't have to just stuff my body with all sorts of crap. You know, I love that weight. And if that's a reality that can come true, where I can have fun in a weight division, it's great. And I'll look for opportunities like that. But no, listen, Travis and I have arm wrestled a lot over the years. The reason why I chose that weight category is, for one, now at that time, the money was a big deal for me. It really was. So you're talking about like WAL 2015 to like 2016, 17, that era, that's right when I quit my job and I took a year's leave without pay. So for that time period, the money actually was really important because I had no income, zero. I had walked away from my work and I needed to get paid. So I thought realistically my best chances were in the weight division. And with my elbow surgery on my right, I wasn't in a position to win the super heavyweight division. It just wasn't. I could have done whatever I wanted. Even if I had bulked up, I would not have, my elbow just wasn't ready. Whereas in the 225 pound division, I knew I had a good chance. But Travis is punk. He's a punk. Where is he now? That's the guy who does it for the money. I'm telling you, I don't know if we'll ever see Travis again. I really like Travis. I really do. I think he's fantastic for the sport. And I've been a fan of Travis as long as I've known him. But he is a punk, and he just got beat by Brandon Sessler, left-handed. So he's got no business. He's got no business saying anything or doing anything.
Maybe I'll use this as an intro.
Just stay promoting. Don't ever even think about coming back into sport. We got 5 guys who I'm going to be pulling tonight that'll beat him. maybe 7. Yeah.
I think your vision about money is really clear, that a lot of people need to learn that money should be looked at as a means to buy time, not to buy stuff. So then let's talk about Denis Siplankov and Levan Seginashvili right now. After the Denis match, it was very clear, and you have also mentioned that was the strongest arm that you have ever felt on the table. So what are you expecting from Levon? Will that be a new strongest arm that you are going to feel, or are you expecting him to be a little bit less stronger than Dennis?
All right, guys. So we are doing a back and forth, myself and Arm Wrestling Newz, Pradeep. And the first part is right here on my channel. Links below to Arm Wrestling Newz. You can tune in for the rest of it over there. Go over, like, and subscribe.
Last time you told people to subscribe to my channel, I gained like 500 subscribers in 2-3 days.
Great. Well, let's hope it's even more than that this time.
Thank you very much, Devon.